Welcome everyone. Okay, so this is a video, a little homemade amateur video that I'm doing about how to make beads out of recycled calendar paper. So here our first calendar shot is just a beautiful silver Buddha in a relaxed pose with beautiful blues and lavenders. I really like this picture, so I'm not cutting it up, but I do like to share it. It says, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. So I love that message. It's kind of be open and be curious to change, positive change by Lao Tzu. So this, here's a calendar from Tibet. It's women in Tibet, and the international campaign for Tibet, and it has some beautiful photos in it, as you can see, lovely photos. Now this calendar is of a heavier paper, so it's going to make larger beads. Here's one, butterflies, gosh, there's some beautiful ones, and then this one is from the Disabled American Veterans, America the Beautiful. It has some lovely colors and photos. You can take your your Capitol building in Washington D.C. and turn it into some beautiful beads. Animal lovers. The Nature Conservancy has beautiful nature calendars. For example, here's a fish. Isn't this amazing? Picture of a fish. I have cut some of the these fish pictures, and I've been using some of those already for earrings. So you just find the colors that you like, and the next step I'm going to show you is how to cut the paper. Okay? Here we have a paper cutter. You may be familiar with this type of paper cutter. There are different kinds. I'm going to take a piece of calendar that's about 8.5 inches, and I'm going to cut it's a triangle with a long, skinny end, very pointed, and then this one's about a little over a 1/2 inch in width. So I'm going to cut a few of those. I'm going to go kind of back and forth here. Okay, and another one. Let's just do 4 of those. Okay. And so you see we have 4 pieces. The purple is on the wide side there, and it's on the narrow side on the other beads, which creates an interesting effect, and I'll show you more about that. So you can cut them 8 or 10 or 12 inches or shorter if you want a smaller, thinner bead. You'll learn to play with it and do it your way. This is, it's a cutting surface. And here I have a beautiful cobalt cutter. So it's a very sharp blade. Be sure you have a new, clean, sharp blade, because otherwise you're gonna get a messy cut. All right, so this time I'm gonna take a different calendar piece. This one's shorter. This one is 7 inches. It's 7 inches long. Some pretty colors there, right? So we're gonna cut it this way, holding it nice and tight and going close to your metal edge. It has to be metal, not a wooden ruler, because the wood will cut. You'll cut the wood. And try to get this edge the same width as that one. So you can take it like this. get the same width if you want, or you can just eyeball it and do what looks right. 2. I just like to eyeball it. I don't need perfection. Eyeball means just look at it with your eyes and make your best judgment. Okay, one more. Okay. All right, so we have 4 of those. And then the other way that we can make a bead is by cutting with scissors, simply cutting with scissors. We go with the scissors nice and straight. Okay. And then we want to get the same width, so we can just do it like this. Okay, so if you're sitting in a doctor's office or out with your grandkids waiting for them to get out of their ball game or whatever, you can just have scissors and do it that way. Kind of cool, huh? 3 different ways to cut. Okay, so next I'm going to be showing you how to roll the beads. Okay, so to roll our bead, well, first of all, these are the things you need. You need some scissors, some regular glue. Elmer's glue is fine, paper glue, a toothpick, and I like to have a piece of sandpaper because I want my toothpick to be nice and round and clean. So, you want it to be not a big fat toothpick, kind of a nice thin rounded toothpick. So I sometimes go toothpick hunting. If I'm in a restaurant and they have a toothpick, get a nice one and make sure it's round and not square. So I'm going to take, okay, this piece has the white edge, so I'm going to cut that, and then I'm going to, let's see, just curve the corners, because we don't want the square, sharp corners sticking out, right? So we're going to curve the corners. And what I'll do, actually, let me do 2 at a time to show you how easy it is just to do a pair. Okay, we're going to cut this one across, and we're going to make the corners round, right? And then we take them together. We want to curl the tips because when you are finishing your bead, you want your tips to be nice and curly, because then they won't stick out. They'll go down easily around the end of the bead curling process. So you see, you get just a little, can you see that little curl on it? All right, so I'm going to take one of these. And it might be best if I remove this white tissue because you want to be able to see. I'm going to take it on sort of the bottom half of the toothpick, and I'm just going to grab it and start rolling. Now on this bead, it's what I call a barrel bead. I'm going to roll evenly, and you see I'm not using any glue yet, but I'm going to keep it in the middle because this is going to be an equidistant barrel bead, not a cone shape, but a where you go down the middle of the paper. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of roll, try to keep it centered, okay? Centered. And you see I'm not putting on any glue yet. I don't need much glue at all. I need a tiny bit of glue. I'm going to open my glue, get it ready. Okay, now that I have about 2 inches left, I'm going to put the tiniest little bit of glue on there. Can you see? It's just a little tiny bit. I hope you can see. All right, and then I'm going to keep rolling. Avoid getting the glue on the toothpick because, you know, your bead will stick to your toothpick if there's glue on it. It's okay if you get a little bit on because we're going to act quickly. Now look how beautifully that rolled. I'm just going to keep rolling it with the glue and then quickly, oh, the little tip's coming up there. Keep it down so it's, And you might want to lick it with your tongue with a little saliva to make it stay. And you take it off and just set it down. Now this one's having a little trouble. It's still sticking up. So while it's still wet, you want to get that tip to lay down, right? You don't want it up. Okay, so there's one. And I'm going to do that again so you can see again how we do it. I think this time I'll put my tissue there so you can see the bead. Okay? All right. I'll take the next piece. And you see it's my clean, nice side of my toothpick that I'm using. And I'm going to start again. Roll kind of tight so it hugs. The paper hugs the toothpick nicely. Keeping it even in the middle. Roll, roll, roll. Some of you may have rolled smoking items, either joints or cigarettes in the past. Who knows? But anyway, it's kind of fun to roll in a different way. Okay, I'm still keeping it as much as I can in the middle. And now that I have about 2 inches left, I'm going to put just a little bit of glue and keep rolling. All right, so this is your barrel bead, which again is equal in the middle. Now this one, let's see if it'll curl down nicely. Yeah, take that extra little bit of glue, and I want to quickly and carefully, oops. I want to quickly and carefully remove it so that it doesn't stick to the toothpick. All right, so that's how you do the barrel of the barrel bead. Now we're gonna roll a different shape of bead, which I call either a cone or maybe a bugle. It's a cone shape. So if you think of an ice cream cone, okay, it has a small end and then it opens up into, this is a cone shaped bead here. If you can see it, okay. Smaller at one end, larger at the other end, okay. So we're gonna roll this similarly, but on this right side, I'm going to stay even. Oops. I'm going to stay even. And then the other side will end up being smaller. So I don't know if you, hopefully you can see this, but I'm going to roll and roll. And for the first part of it, I'm going to keep it even on the right side, just at the same place. Okay, and then the left side, if you can see it, is kind of off, smaller on the left. So hopefully, if I'm close enough, you can see how this is going. But when I get to about 3 inches, I'm going to start going more that way. And the reason is we want to have a sort of a cup that will hold our larger bead. You'll see, I'm going to show you in a minute. Now I'm going to get my glue. Just put a little bit of glue. Again, not much. Just a little glue. Enough to seal the deal. Hopefully If you're translating this, it won't be too hard. And you'll learn. You'll learn by practicing. You'll have a lot of messy beads at first that don't look right, but you'll have a good time. So now I'm going to, instead of pushing there, I'm going to pull from this end because I don't want to dent that end. So I'm going to hold it tight and then twist and pull. And then here I've got to make sure it's down, looks good. Yep. Okay, so that bead is done. And you know, this glue dries very fast. So I don't know if you can see up in there, but there's a little cupping. There's a little indentation where it's going to hug my bead. And I'll show you what I mean. If you go straight across and you don't make that little cup, what you end up with is a bead that's just sitting on the outside, and it's just kind of a whole round bead sitting on a flat surface. But when you do it the way I just showed you, it holds that bead inside the cup. So you have a half sphere, like a half moon. Okay, so can you see the difference between having a full moon, this one, and then having it tucked in and having a half moon? And I often use a small bead at the end because that kind of looks good. You don't have to, though. You could just have your that bead. So anyway, that's a little bit on how we do the cone bead. So I'll do that again so you can see one more time. All right, we're going to start the rolling with a nice tight connection there. Roll, roll, roll. Keep it even. On the right side is just even and straight. And then the left side has got some layers to it. We're going to roll it. And now when we have a few inches left, we're going to start bringing this side a little more that way. Just a little. So it creates that cup. The cup that will hold the bead. And you know, the nice thing about these is it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be, you know, it's going to vary, and people will go, oh, what pretty earrings, what a pretty bead. And you might want to use this bead for your ceremonial, ritual clothing or items. You know, you may want to use these beads for various different things. Also, of course, keychains, necklaces, bracelets. Yeah, there's plenty of different ways you might enjoy using these. So there you go. There's your cone-shaped bead again. I'm going to pull and let it dry. And it can even just sit and dry on that tissue. You see, it's not sticking because the glue is, there's so little glue there that it's not bothered by it. Now, in this case, what I did was I took the opposite earring. So you've got the purple part here, and then you've got the purple part there. Now that one came out, one earring came out, one bead came out longer than the other. So I might play with it again and see if I want them to be the same size. I wouldn't start cutting them because they're not going to look right if you cut them. So anyway, you experiment, you play with it, and enjoy it. But again, make sure you don't just do it flat, because if you do it flat, you're going to have a ball sitting on top. You want that nice tucked in look. So, okay, that's that part. Okay, I figure I may as well just go ahead and show you how we assemble the earring. Now we have this beautiful shiny fish has turned into this lovely bead. So I'm going to take the other one and kind of show you how we do it. These are called seed beads. They're the very small ones. I like to put a seed bead on first, and then my larger bead, because the seed bead will get lost or swallowed up inside of the toothpick-sized opening, right? Where is this opening? Let me try this one. There it is. Okay. Now, sometimes your beads are going to be too small to fit on your earring wire, but anyway, so here we go. See, now we have two that look quite similar. And I'm going to decide to put, well, let's see if the seed bead is going to get swallowed up or not. Okay, the seed bead looks pretty good on there, so I'm going to do that. And this. Why is it hard to find? There it is. And another one of these. Maybe two more or three. Little seed bead. And another seed bead. Okay, I mean, you can use different colors. It might be cute if we used a different color. I don't know yet. Let's see, we'll take this one. This big one. And then this. And then 1, 2. And you see, sometimes it's easy to just do it that way. Pick it up there, okay? So that's how our earrings will look as we get them done. Maybe I'll change one of those top seed beads. Let me see. Let me go find another bead. Okay, now I figured I might as well go ahead and show you how I finished the earring. Even though the beads haven't been dunked in shellac or varnish yet, we will do that. We can just varnish this whole earring, but usually I just do the beads before I put the varnish on them. So here's what I do. I take it very close to the last bead and I bend it down at about a 90-degree angle. And then you have to have a plier and a cutter. So I cut it about, I don't know, maybe that's a centimeter or a 1/4 inch. I don't know, a short bit, just enough to grab it at the end. Okay. See, it's not easy. I'm going to do it with the other one because I lost a bead. And this one doesn't have a whole lot of slack, but I'm going to show you again. I'm going to bend it down, and I'm going to cut a little bit off. And I'm going to bend this around into a little round loop. And before I close the loop, I have to grab my earring wire. And I have to put that on. Whoa. A little clumsy here. And then I want to close that loop all the way. So that I now have an earring. Let's see if you can see that. I have a beautiful earring. Okay, and then I'll, of course, fix the other one by grabbing a bead because I lost one. Get that bead on there. Get on there. Well, anyway, I'm showing you how challenging it can be. I'm going to bend it back up. Get the bead to go down, bend it again, and then grab it and curl it. Curl it around, put it on my earring wire. Look, you know, we're not perfect. We do what we can. We don't worry about it. We enjoy the process of making something beautiful and being able to give it to someone. Okay, so that's the pair of earrings we got right now. Aren't they pretty? Can't wait to put them on. Now we're going to waterproof our beads. We have this polyurethane Minwax, and it is clear satin. That's the one I like. It's not too shiny or too dull. It's also water soluble, so you can wash this with water. That's my preference. I don't like to have to use other things to clean my materials. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to open it carefully. I don't want to spill it. I've got my nice tablecloth here, and I'm going to be really careful. I'm going to stir it, not shake it. This lasts a very long time. But I'm going to stir it carefully, because if you shake it, it'll get all bubbles, and that won't be so great. Underneath it is a little sticky down there because I haven't used it for a while. So just like with a paint stirrer, you're going to get it nice and mixed up, okay? And then I'm going to let this drip off my tip. Okay. And then I'm going to lean it on the lid so I don't get my stuff all over the place. And then I'm going to take a needle and thread. This is a needle and thread that I've already threaded. I'm going to start, actually, I'm going to take one of my paper clips and I'm going to put it on the end right here so that nothing falls off, of course. And my beads, okay, this is a barrel bead that I had already made, and it's going to go 1, 2, and then when I have my cone beads, I'm going to have them facing each other this way. Okay, let's see. I want to show you. You're going to have the wide end facing the wide end, or the narrow facing the narrow. Now I have two very small beads here. You can't see them. Okay. 1, 2 little ones. So if I want to make a pair of earrings that has a large bead and a small one, I can use those. Here's another barrel bead. Now this is really pretty. It's kind of Christmas colors, red and green. Here's another red and green. This time I'm going to have the small ends facing each other. Okay, so as you can see, we're getting a nice row of beads. I think I'm going to be able to get all of these on this thread. Then this one. Actually, those are already shellacked. I'm going to get this one, putting the small ends together. Then these small ones. Okay. All right, so as you can see, this is a nice little string of beads. Now, I'm going to break the thread, and I'm going to tie it at this end as well. Okay. And I'm going to put the other paper clip on this end. Now, these paper clips are going to end up being the way we will hang them to dry afterwards. All right, so I want you to get the idea here. This polyurethane, we are going to completely immerse our beads into it. Can you see there? All the way in, completely wet. And now I'm going to let it drip off, because if we let too much polyurethane stay in there, what's going to happen is it'll clog the bead and you won't be able to string it because it'll be too full of the polyurethane. So what I want to do too is maybe dab it on my napkin, being very careful not to mess up, but I'm going to get the excess off of there. And then we're going to hang them to dry, and we're going to have them not touching each other. So I can't really do this and show you at the same time very well, but we're going to, I'm going to get you another photo showing you how this works. Meantime, I also want to show you how, this is the pair of earrings we made earlier. Now, it has not been shellacked yet. I don't usually do it this way, but just to show you what is possible is you can dunk your earring just to the top of the bead, okay? And then you want to let it drip off. I'll dunk the other one just to where the metal loop is. And I'm going to let them drip off. And those can also be done that way. That's not how I usually do it, but it is possible to do it that way. Okay. Now I've hung this string of beads on a fence that I have in the backyard, making sure that each one is separate from the others. They're not touching at all. And there's the pair of earrings. And pretty soon I'm going to put those on as soon as they're dry. I think it came out really nice. Quite a variety of colors and shapes.